School of Computer and System Sciences, JNU, Miss Meenu Chaudhary ma'am, as our chief guest, Shri Guru Charan Singh sir from CTDI Chandigarh, and Dr. Karan Singh sir from JNU. So, moving on to further, I would like to request and invite Professor D.K. Lobial sir for his welcome speech. Sir, am I audible to you?
Hello. Yeah. Am I audible to everybody? Yes.
Very good morning, sir, and welcome you, sir.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. On the dignitaries sitting on the virtual dais, I'll call it virtual dais because we are sitting here but not physically. Let me, on behalf of the Jawaharlal Nehru University and School of Computer and System Sciences, especially on the organizers of this FDP, I'd like to welcome all the participants as well as our chief guest, Madam Meenu Chaudhary IPS and Sri Guru Charanji, the guest of honor, sparing their time to be here. And I welcome all of them. And also, because this is a time when everybody of us is confined in the rooms. And this is a very unfortunate situation that we are facing in, but nevertheless, we are learning to come out of it, and that is how it is. Otherwise, it could have been a face-to-face FDP, and that has no substitute for a face-to-face FDP. We did also had an FDP last year in 2019, and that was a face-to-face in the university. Now this time we are learning how to interact with the participants and colleagues through this virtual medium. I hope that will be a success as well, and it will be a good learning exercise for all of us as well. And this FDP, AICT has been sponsoring many FDPs, and we are one of the what you call privileged one, which AICT gives us. And after this, we have another FDP as well on IoT. And I hope the participants who are here will enjoy this FDP. And we have been aiming all the time to have an FDP where we have hands-on. So generally, FDPs we see are more theoretical, but we are trying to be more practical, where hands-ons can be done through virtual media, and if you have laptops, you can do at home. So probably, I think, had you come to JNU, all of you could have enjoyed the environment, the atmosphere, and the vicinity of the JNU. But unfortunately, that is not the way you could have. But it will be nice to interact on this, and I welcome again every one of you, especially the chief guest and the guest of honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Lobial sir, for your words of motivation. And as a participant, we all will definitely try to impart your suggestions in this 5 days learning program. Thank you so much, sir. Now, encouragement, enthusiasm, and excellency is the major aspect of any organization, with the objectives of encouraging the spirit of research, innovations, and most important, learning. I feel proud as a moderator of this session. This event is not just a single day activity, rather then it is a composition of 5 days learning program in a specific thirst area like as cyber security. Moving on to the further in this sequence, now I would like to invite Professor T.V. Vijay Kumar sir. Sir is Dean of SC and SS JNU. Sir, am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, am I audible also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. On the behalf of School of Computer and System Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, I welcome all the chief guest, the guest of honor, and the participants to this online faculty development program on cybersecurity, which is going to be a 5-day event starting today. At this challenging time of COVID-19 pandemic has engrossed the entire world and their economies. The social distancing as a most appropriate measure to address this pandemic has led to transition from in-person learning to online learning. That is what we are doing today. This has posed many cybersecurity issues, challenges, and threats, and at the same time has created opportunities for the research community to address these challenges. So I first would like to welcome the chief guest, Mrs. Meenu Chaudhary. She happens to be an IPS, and our guest of honor, Shri Gurcharan Singh from CGTI, who is going to give us the welcome speech for this webinar. And most of all, not the least, the participants of this webinar, because this is a very great opportunity that people are sitting at their homes, utilizing their times and attending such webinars. And I would also like to congratulate the coordinators for this webinar, Professor D.K. Lobial and Dr. Karan Singh, who has, during this time, has come out with a very important issue that has engrossed the entire world.
Thank you.
Now, we know that body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect network devices, programs, and data from attacks, damages, and unauthorized access is the main purpose of cybersecurity. And we know that social engineering scams proliferate in the wake of natural disasters and pandemic. Since the start, even the WHO has reported, since the start of COVID-19, there has been a dramatic increase in the number of cyber attacks directed towards the public at large. These being denial of service, hacking, malware, phishing, spoofing, ransomware, and spamming, etc. Today, you find emails masquerading as government announcements. You have found hidden malwares which are as attachments to your emails. You have false charity where people are actually creating multiple addresses where people are trying to deposit money. There have been bank frauds because of this social distancing aspect, where the lockdown has occurred. Very few customer care services are taking place, so bank frauds are also likely to occur. So I hope this FDP on cybersecurity would provide lectures to address these issues and challenges. Again, I wish to congratulate the coordinators of this FDP, Professor D.K. Lobial and Dr. Karan Singh, and would like to have the wisdom and advice from our chief guest, Miss Meenu Chaudhary, and our guest of honor, Shri Gurcharan Singh. Thank you, and welcome to you all, and welcome to all the participants for the webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Manisha.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. The aim of this FDP is to enrich the knowledge of faculties through interaction with eminent personalities from industries and academics as well. The knowledge sharing will improve the teaching learning process to the students, and it will be definitely benefited for the society. This will definitely help our participants to expand their horizons in their knowledge domain. So the world is full of gems, and we are having today some of them here. With this note, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our chief guest and our guest of honor, and would like to hand over further session to Dr. Lata Banda ma'am. Ma'am, over to you. Am I audible? Lata ma'am, am I audible? Are you there?
Lata.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Manisha. This is Dr. Lata Banda. Security used to be an inconvenience sometimes, but now it's a necessity all the time. Martina Navratilova. Privacy is like eating and breathing, is one of life's basic requirements. Katrina Nivile. Today, we are very lucky to have great eminent personalities in our FDP to experience many great things in our day-to-day life. Here, I welcome our guest of honor, Shri Gurcharan Singh. Welcome, sir. It's a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our guest of honor this morning. Today, we are very privileged to have an opportunity to listen to his great experiences related to cybersecurity this morning. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, sir, to this FDP on cybersecurity. Shri Gurcharan Singh, sir, faculty member for cyber. Cyber Crimes, Central Detect Institute, Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs. His area of specialization is computer forensics, cell phone, mobile forensics, location-based services, investigation of online crimes, research and development of tools for cybercrime investigation, technical surveillance, cyber patrolling, vigilance, cybercrime against children or women, and smartphone vulnerabilities. The medals and awards he achieved: recipient of President's Police Medal for Meritorious Service on the occasion of Independence Day 2015, and Union Home Minister's Medal for Best Trainer and Excellence in Training in India, and Utkrisht Seva Medal by Ministry of Home Affairs for Excellence in Cybercrime Training, and receipt of DG's commendations and discs on 4 occasions. Welcome with respect our guest of honor. Sir, welcome, sir. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your honor and respect.
Thank you, sir.
Indeed, when we speak about the cyber security, is the subject of the day, and I'm happy that the JNU Computer Science Department has taken this subject for a faculty development program. Am I audible to you, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Clearly
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir.
I think there is some problem with the video. Are you able to see me?
Video
sir.
is not.
Okay. So my compliment.
Video is not available.
My compliments to the Department of Computer Science, Jawaharlal Nehru University, for such a wonderful topic which they have chosen. The very relevant topic. But what I feel, being dealing with the law enforcement agencies for taking care of cyber-related crimes, that the academicians are having a very pivotal role to play in curbing this cybercrime. You are the backbone of this country. You are producing the researchers and the technocrats to deal with the cybercrime. And the cybercrime and the cyber security is going to be of a great potential and the career in the future to come. Second aspect which I have seen when we speak about the cyber security scenario in India, the cyber security as of now has been termed to be the least consideration part. The most of the entrepreneurs and the most of the high valued companies are not having an emphasis on the cyber security, and they are coming a victim of the cyber fraudsters. I have, in the recent 2 months amid COVID, I have come across many cyber attacks. A few of the attacks from Maharashtra, where 6 crores of rupees have been cheated with the bank, and the criminals are still scot-free. You know why? The law enforcement agencies are also engaged in dealing with the law and order situations these 2 months. Secondly, the technological part, and which I feel that the people like you and the technocrats are to come forward, join hands with the law enforcement agency in producing the good quality technocrats and cybersecurity experts, as well as coming in rescue of the cybercrime investigation as and when the need be. So I compliment once again to the Jawaharlal Nehru University for this very useful subject which they have chosen. Wish you all the best, and I hope all the participants would have very good learning time ahead. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable experiences, and thank you for sharing your great experiences. And today, here we are very great honor to have Miss Meenu Chaudhary. It's a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our chief guest this morning. Today, we are very privileged to have an opportunity to listen her this morning. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, ma'am, to this FDP on cybersecurity. Ms. Meenu Chaudhary is an IPS officer of 2000 batch born on AGMUT cadre, which serves in Delhi, Goa, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Chandigarh, Pondicherry, and Union Territories of Islands. She has served in Delhi Police, Lakshadweep, Goa, and CBI Anti-Corruption Headquarters, apart from working with 2 union ministers of cabinet rank in 3 ministries of Government India. Apart from this, she successfully handled Commonwealth Games arrangements, VVIP visits, crowd control, mobs and riot situations. She has always led from the front in every situation. She has handled investigations of national and international ramifications and presently is posted as Joint Commissioner of Police, Delhi Traffic Police. She has employed cyber and IT technology in her professional work since initial days in career as DCP in Delhi Police for successfully solving credit card frauds, kidnapping for ransom, tracking of criminals, mobile phone forensics, email frauds, and many others. Later in CBI, she used these skills and tools to solve intricate and complex white-collar crimes. Today, she is working on integrating technology and artificial intelligence to traffic issues of Delhi, which is one of the most complex traffic systems of the world. She has been awarded with President Police Medal for Meritorious Services in 2016. And it is this zeal to serve the society that finally made her choose the IPS officer. Finally, I conclude the introduction with a statement. Really, the scope of work of an IPS officer is unlimited in the domain of public service. The sky is the limit. So, welcome with respect our chief guest, Ms. Meenu Chaudhary, ma'am, IPS AG MUT. Thank you, ma'am. Please welcome, ma'am.
Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Am I audible to you all?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
Okay, to begin with, I will convey my heartfelt respect to Professor D.K. Lobialji, JNU FDP coordinator, Professor T.V. Vijaykumarji, Shri Gurucharan Singh ji, Dr. Karan Singh, and all the participants of this program. First of all, I am very thankful to the organizing team for giving me this opportunity to be amongst this distinguished group and to be part of this event. It is indeed a matter of great honor to declare this faculty development program on cyber security officially opened. Internet, as already the speakers have talked about this couple of times before me, that internet has pervaded our daily lives and activities to a very great extent. Almost everything we do is online. Further, even in our professional or personal space, we are having internet and cyber component. More so, it has become during the tough times of corona health emergency. With this expansion of internet and cyberspace in real space of our daily life and work, be it personal, organizational, national, or international organizations, we find ourselves operating on network devices most of the times. The entire network becomes a precious commodity, and it has tremendously increased our vulnerability for attack, for stealing, for hacking, sabotaging, depending upon various actors and factors. So does it call for a panic or to find ways and means to holistically see the cyber architecture and to fortify it against such attacks and ensure a very safe cyber ecosystem? I think it's time to stand up to the challenge and ensure cyber security at par with our individual security, with our social security, society security, and even our national security. I'm told that at present, the global cybersecurity market is currently worth more than $71 billion and is growing at around 8% a year. All of you are already experts and luminaries in the field. So I need not get into the definitions, or because you know much more than what we know as police experts. But still, I'll take up certain core issues which become important from the police point of view. That is, as to what is exactly a cyber security, what constitutes a cyber attack, who are the criminals, and who are at the risk. So the basic definition which says is cybersecurity refers to more than simply protecting information. It is an integral part of the system from virtual world to the real world. For an individual, cybersecurity is important because most people have one password for all different accounts. They think of it as protection against simple identity theft, malware, or spam. But criminals are indulging in many more things in various different forms of cybercrime. During our day-to-day policing, we are encountering crimes relating to email fraud, social media crimes, mobile app related crimes, business email compromise, data theft, ransomware, net banking, ATM frauds, fake calls frauds, maybe insurance frauds, many more like cheating scams, more serious like spreading hate, inciting terrorism. Various social media platforms are there, WhatsApp, and we encounter it on day-to-day basis. Distributing child pornography, grooming, and many more things have come up. So awareness amongst people to be vigilant when browsing website is paramount. Delhi Police cybercrime cells also shares various cyber safety tips for various users like children, parents, business persons, women, relating to social media and net banking users. Simple steps are essential, like flagging and reporting suspicious emails, not to click on unfamiliar links, etc., etc. Ensuring that websites are safe, keeping antivirus, using strong words. These are all maybe you all will be discussing during the course of the development program. However, before I conclude my words on the subject, I would say that cyber security is very important and should not be ignored. There are more hackers out there than cyber security specialists. The more we rely on technology, the more vulnerable we are to attack. However, this is also true that 80% of cyber attacks can be prevented through basic cyber hygiene. We all have to strive to counter this growing menace of cybercrime through a multi-pronged approach that includes, among other things, capacity building in the field of cyber investigation, cyber safety awareness campaigns, especially related to new technology like social media and internet. We have to strengthen the cyber ecosystem through active coordination with all stakeholders. This program is a step towards this direction. I wish everyone a fruitful outcome from this program, and I'm sure that next 5 days of this FDP would discuss and deliberate about the challenges and solutions to this topic. Very best wishes to all the participants and my sincere compliments to the organizers for this initiative, which is most relevant. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing a good knowledge to us. Finally, for every program, there is a backbone who really work hard eventually. The only one and backbone of our FDP is Dr. Karan Singh and Dr. Lobial, JNU Delhi. Thank you, sir. Thank you for organizing this FDP. So I'm concluding this inauguration by handing over mic to Dr. Karan Singh, sir, who will give vote of thanks. Thank you, sir, for organizing this FDP, and we will be very thankful to you for these organizers of this FDP. I welcome you to give vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Latna. First of all, thank you very much to all of you for this session you have joined. So first of all, I thank you to AICT, especially chairman of the AICT and vice chairman who start such type of the program like Atal and provide us the such type of the opportunity to us. After this, I thank you to our Vice Chancellor who provide the platform us to organize such type of the event in JNU. After this, I thank you to our Dean who provide the support for this event. And I thank you to our director and finance officer who did work for this Corona COVID-19 and provide a order for this event. After this, I thank you to our organizing team, especially Lobial sir and all members, Lata, Manisha, and all remaining members. Now, especially I thank you to our chief guest and guest of honor who come and give us the time, uh, Miss Menu Chaudhary and Guru Charanji. So thank you all of you. And at the last, I thank you to my participant who joined this session for 5 days. And I think they enjoy this session. If there is any query, we will solve that. Okay, thank you to all of you.
Special thanks to who is managing this Zoom meetings and everything.
Yeah, Rajiv.
Rajiv, yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Lata.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for everyone. So finally here, we will proceed to break. We will be having 10 to 15 minutes of break. Then after that, we will proceed to the session by Dr. D.K. Lobial, sir. So please have a great break and have a tea and biscuits in online, Zoom online. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all, special guests, invitee, chief guest, everybody. Karan? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, who are the waiting people on this waiting room meeting? That is, people are waiting?
We will check. I will allow.
जितने भी co-host हैं वो allow कर सकते हैं सर किसी को भी.
Are you ready? What can you say? कैसे चेक करते हो कि कोई साइज बन गई है, कुछ कलर वलर आता है? इस कलर के बेसिस पे बताते हो कि कलर आ रहा है, ये हमारा चेंज हो गया है, साइज मिल रही है नैनो पार्ट की. would be red color.
by providing free consultation between depend of our medicine ध्यान नीचे भी है।
Hello. Hello. Am I audible to all?
Yes, yes.
Yes, madam.
Okay, sir. So should I start, sir, for
Yeah.
next section?
Yes.
And the lobby ulcer, where is the lobby ulcer? Okay.
Lobby ulcer is there?
Yes, you just ask.
Okay, again, I request to all the participants to please mute yourself. Now we are going to proceed for our first technical session. So, welcome back to all after this short break. In next 5 days of FDP, we will have a galaxy of speakers for enriching our knowledge. In this sequence, for our first technical session, I would like to invite Professor D.K. Lobial, sir, from JNU itself. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes, sir. Sir is engaged in teaching and research in the university for last 21 years. Sir has guided almost 25 plus PhD and around 55 MTech students Area of research for interest includes wireless network, ad hoc sensor networks, natural language processing, and computational neuroscience. Sir has also published more than 100 plus research articles in international reputed journals, IEEE, ACM, elsewhere, Valley, and etc. So, I heartily welcome to Professor Lobial sir for his first technical session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manisha. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir. Clearly audible, sir.
Yeah. So let me begin, as the introduction says, that I have nothing to do with the cybersecurity. Right? You might have heard from my introduction. That is why we chose to speak on the introduction to FDP and why this cybersecurity FDP is important. And as a coordinator, why did we got interested in doing this? Before I begin with that, let me introduce a little bit about the school which is organizing this, because many of the participants today who are interacting with us may not be knowing much about, especially about the School of Computer and System Sciences. They may be knowing JNU as a big social science university in the country. But along with that, the science exists equally dominantly in JNU. That is how it is. Let me begin with the little introduction of the school, because it's very important aspect of this. So this School of Computer and System Sciences began in 1975. And probably many of you would not have born then when the school born. So that is why its introduction is very important, because this is one of the oldest and earliest schools or departments of computer science in the country. And it began as a small center in 75, then graduated to a degree providing school or department. We call a school, a faculty is called a school in JNU, and department is called a center. So under a school there are various centers and departments. This is how the JNU structure is. And we started with the MPhil degree in 1977 in the school. And this was the only program along with the PhD programs. And you'll be surprised, in 1981, the first PhD degree was awarded by School of Computer and System Science. I don't know how many places in the country had this program in computer science that those days. Maybe very few, I don't know, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research may have, IISc may have, maybe most probably, I think MNIT probably. Rest I don't know, as far as my limited knowledge is concerned. But this MPhil program ran for a long time. And 1985, the government of India started with what you call a program in Master of Computer Applications, based on the requirement of computer professionals in the country. And JNU is one of those prime institutions or university which is started with the MCA program. So there used to be only two MCA programs, Jawaharlal Nehru University and Pune University in 1985. And there was a Raja Ramanna committee which started that why should there be a program called MCA. So we were the first one to start MCA in 1985, along with the MPhil and PhD program already going on from 77 onwards. But gradually in the professional market, people did not recognize what is MPhil in computer science, because MPhil in social sciences as well as sciences were very popular programs. And then we, in 87 around, depending on the market need and the problem students were facing, we converted almost, I'll call converted this MPhil program to MTech. I'm calling converted because it is not that we abolished MPhil, we continue MPhil, we started MTech both programs, but students were opting for only MTech. There were no students opting for MPhil, rarely anybody interested, because MPhil was 2 years and MTech was 1.5 years. So if you look from that angle, our MTech program is 1987, from 1987, MCA 85, MPhil 79. So that way we have been a premier institution as far as computer science is concerned. And for your surprise, I'll call that we have more than 100 PhD students registered in the department at any point of time after, I think, mid-90s or after 2000. More than 100 PhD students registered in the School of Computer and System Science. Now, this is our strength. Research is the strength of School of Computer and System Sciences. And recently, from 2017-18, we started a new MTech program called MTech in Statistical Computing. So we have two MTechs, MTech in Statistical Computing, MTech in Computer Science and Technology. We have MCA. So we have 3 teaching learning programs, and plus we have MPhil and PhD as a research program. So if you look at, this is what how the school deals with. We have basically 4 major areas of research where the entire faculty. We are a faculty of 20 people or 20 faculty members in the department currently. All are with PhD, 1, and because it is our strength as a research program, so we need people with PhD degree as a faculty. And
क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा होता है कि प्रॉपर वो इंस्टॉल नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो मैंने देखा तो सुबह भी मुझे
okay, shall I continue? Yes.
Yes,
So,
sir, yes.
yeah, so this is the program which the school runs, and we work basically on 3-4 areas largely. The group of faculty, like say, one of our strength is the wireless communication where we work, 5-6 people, including me and Karan Singh, other colleagues as well. Whether it is security aspect of the wireless or other aspect of the wireless communication, this is one area which school has a strong strength. Plus we have machine learning, data mining. This is what another large area where a lot of people get together and work on that. And in addition to that, we have other areas of research. These are major 2 areas, but in addition, people have been working on what you call, some people on software engineering, maybe on other areas, cloud computing, where 3-4 people are working. So cloud computing, wireless, and machine learning, data mining, this is our strength of working. And therefore, why I brought this, we thought, since we are working on the wireless and that wireless security, network security, why not ourselves deal with and go and expand to a cyber security framework? And this is what we targeted and try to take this cyber security FDP from AICT from last year onwards. We had last year also. Now, the idea is because FDP, the faculty development program for a week, has been running for past many years. University system has been running our refresher, other courses. But we have also been participating, as a speaker or participating initially as a participant as well. I have myself and Karan. So now the question is whether the FDP or the refresher program are really serving the purpose or not. And this is my personal opinion. I cannot generalize it, but by and large, those who have attended, since these programs have been made to develop either skills or to be aware of the ongoing current state of art research programs or activities worldwide. That is what the primary focus of these FDPs as well as refresher orientation programs has been past. But somehow, I personally feel the purpose is not being served. The reason is sometimes we rely on old guards, no problems. Like us now, we are old guard that way. Whether we are really being refreshed or we are really able to get our skills developed or not. But by and large, I felt that we are most of the time repeating the very old stuff all the time. And therefore we thought, let us take it up and try to make it as vibrant as possible. And those who attended last time, I think their feedback, we felt that that was a successful FDP because our focus is a very well balanced focus on theory as well as practice. Because this is a discipline where you need a lot of practice to be done to learn skills or to learn a topic. And unless you have hard hand-on practice, it cannot be a successful FDP. Therefore, if you look at our whole programs, there are a lot of focus and a lot of lectures, a lot of sessions that will focus on hands-on. So theory will be a very small part, but of course theory is equally needed, and it can be supplemented by the practice so that you can grow or you can develop any skill or any area of your expertise. That is how we see it. Now, that is what the primary purpose of FDP is. One. And second, we thought, let us begin with this FDP. Probably we can, as a group of wireless communication or network, computer network, can develop some program in cybersecurity. We thought we will start with a master program and take or something on cybersecurity, but still we don't find that we are equipped with the what you call is the sufficient resources to begin with that, because first we have to establish a lab, because running a course, that is how the country largely runs, without labs, appropriate labs for running a program masters or is not fair and appropriate. It's not that you need 2 computers and start any program in computer science. It's not a fair deal to do with. This is how we deal it, but we'll wait for some time and trying to develop ourselves and building this through these FDPs organizing. We're also learning, gaining knowledge and trying to see what to do. Now that probably by these 2 FDPs, we have come to a point where we know that what is to be done. But the question, main question lies on what are the resources available for you to develop such a program, master's program or PhD program. Now, if you look at the resources, what I'm talking is basically finances I'm talking about. We have been trying DST, trying AICT, we'll keep on trying, and ultimately at some time, definitely we'll have some funding and we'll be starting probably a good program, master's program in cyber security, which is, I think, is the demand of the time. And everybody has been saying that the COVID-19 also probably opened new avenues for cyber security. Of course, yes, all disasters, whether it is natural or man-made, are bad, but at the same time, they also open as a byproduct some opportunities. If you look, let me go to the history, because in 1946-47, after Second World War, many things happened. Network security came after the Second World War. The reason was the message these pilots were sending while bombing, they need secrecy. So this came. Digital communication started 48. And if you look at that way, whole ENIAC first digital computer came. After that, a lot of wireless communication began in a commercial or way. So this what and total machine translation, the area which my introduction says, is begin from there, because the translation of message from one language, Russian to German, German to Russian, was a focus point of Second World War, where the language of the instruction given by a pilot is understood by the country, enemy country. So what I'm saying is these opportunities came because of that, whether you call opportunities or compulsion. Let me call it a compulsion to save for the safeguards of a country. Now, similarly, you can see the cyber security, maybe because of this COVID, where people are confined and a lot of people are using net access right now, because when you're confined at home, you have more access to the net probably, and the fraudulent messages, emails coming on somebody's name that we have been facing for last few days. It comes from a faculty member, colleague's name that I need this, and then we know the email ID is wrong, then we ignore it. This is how we have been doing. So probably this can open more avenues for cyber security. That is what is being said. But let me put it a little different ways. That if you look at the FDP, this topic of cyber security generally, initially when it began, has been seen as a network security. It has expanded with a wide spectrum, covering a lot of areas, from what you call is from malware to the protection of your application software, whether it is protection of operating system, protection of your even hardware, let me call even your hardware. So it has a lot of areas where the attacks can come, whether it is hardware, the operating system kernel, all operating system other resources, or it is a middleware software like databases or your application software. These are the areas where the whole cyber attacks has been coming. Now, largely one of the aim of this FDP is we become vulnerable to the cyber attack because of the ignorance rather than a real threat. We are ignorant most of the time, and we use a lot of things without knowing, and we don't know what is to click. Probably something comes yes or no, we don't know, we click yes or no. And that is where the ignorance is. Whether it is with your fraudulent activity, your credit cards, or you take your, when you go to the ATM to withdraw money, whether some device is put there or not, that is skimming. And that is where we get suffered because of ignorance most of the time. Now, one of the aim of this FDP is when the lectures will start on different areas, then you will come to know that how much ignorant we are. Even last time when you have a FDP, somebody says we don't rub this up or hide the 3-number digit or 3-digit CVV number on the credit card has to be hidden. Something should be pasted there. But we don't know, we don't do. This I came to know last year. Now what I'm trying to do, this is what the level of ignorance is. So most of us are vulnerable most of the time because of the ignorance. And only we are little bit cautious when it comes to financial frauds. The rest we are not that aware of what is happening all around. But the financial fraud is not a simple one-day fraud. It gets by monitoring by the spyware, monitoring by there may be malwares. All right, so different kind of attacks, whatever you see, and we don't see it as a threat. And gradually we get trapped into that. And therefore, the FDP, if you lectures, there are lectures on cyber crime. Now, all cyber activities, most of the cyber activities where threats are converted, translated into cyber crimes now. At the cyberspace spreads. Initially, we have been talking of network security. Then initially even say we only password and login security we have been. These are only threats that people will steal them. When it was not on the network, then we move to the network. We have network threats. Now, every device. Now we are going to IoTs. That lot of devices connected. That every device is threat to the security of the cyberspace. Now the cyberspace has enlarged from computer to the information to the network to the application. So this is a large wide spectrum, and covering this much wide spectrum in FDP is a big challenge. That the forensic involvement, the forensic activities. Last year also we had some lectures on the kind of activity that requires processes is huge. Now that is where the problems comes in. Now, so this FDP cover your forensic activities. It will cover your small mobile hacking and stealing of mobiles and then selling servers. That is another aspect of the cyber crime, and especially where people hide their identity. In case of, as the Chief Justice said, that the child pornography is one of the key issues where you need really a threat, and how to handle those issues. It is a matter of a dignity. So these are the issues which probably I think will be discussed in this FDP, a 5-day FDP, by a large number of speakers coming from a varied spectrum, very experienced. So it is basically an experience sharing activity. This FDP I see from this angle that we have to be very what you call is thankful to especially Karan Singh, I am saying, because arranging speakers from such a large wide spectrum itself is a big challenge. And of course, probably this time because of the online, it may not be that difficult in a sense that people need not travel and they have to give from home, because otherwise the schedule matching is difficult. Somebody is engaged here and there. That also makes it difficult. This time people are not engaged that much, but at the same time, but keep one thing in mind, it's not that easy as you feel that arranging this activity. The reason is now, though people may be at home, they may have spare time, but not everybody is very well equipped with the technology. Keep that in mind. that somebody may be a very good speaker, but he is not very technological savvy. So no, I cannot do on that. So there are difficulties as well. It's not all the time positive, but still for the participants, let me say, being at home and learning various aspect issues and challenges of cybersecurity will be a very good exercise and can spare time being at home. And throughout the day, other activities, maybe some people are still maybe engaged in teaching classes, but you can still manage and shift your teaching or teaching is fine. So in the evening, that way it may be a blessing, one sense, that you get enough time to listen to the various kind of lectures which has been arranged in this FDP, which will definitely help you to enhance your skills. Now, if you look at the cyber crimes, what I am trying to say, now, what you feel is that the phishing, where a lot of fraudulent activities go on, including financial frauds, even now we feel they are very small in percentage wise. The other kind of attacks have a large percentage of attacks. It looks towards viruses and other attacks. They are equally dangerous, but may not be siphoning of money. Now we are leading towards a world where this cyber security becomes a key challenging issue, because we probably are moving towards a cyber war. The moment I say war, it's not only see, the Bangladesh government account was hacked a few years back. Huge money from the government of Bangladesh account was siphoned off. Now this is one kind. Now this is all through cyber. The government money is being siphoned off. Now all military and nuclear resources, they can be attacked through cyberspace. That is what cyber war will involve. And even the small countries, like if you look at Baltic nations, where you are Estonia, all these small countries, they have a good self for cybersecurity, because they know the threats coming around are huge using the cyberspace. Now, what I'm saying is, from cyber crime, all kind of crimes which are facing right now, the shifting of the paradigm, it's not the cyber war is not a new thing, but warfare. People still work on cyber warfare, and that is why the cyber security centers are especially formed worldwide by various universities and various governments. We are looking at the cyber war. Well, warfare is important, because warfare involves the technology, the processes, and the facilities to be created to deal with the cyber. Now, that is how all countries worldwide probably may generate more opportunities for people to use cyber security, and therefore this FDP will have a very good relevance. Those who are participating save themselves and train people for further professional activities. That is what the whole idea of this FDP is. And in more details of this FDP, if people are interested, and because Dr. Karan Singh has been largely involved in engaging many things, I could not spend much time because of my other engagements in the university activities, or whether it is social or political or academic. I could not spend much time, and the detail highlight focused on the FDP more, what areas we are going to cover, and thank you very much. Karan, Dr. Karan?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
it is
sir,
to
yes,
you
sir.
now.
Please
Thank you.
Participant, please, I request again, please mute yourself. Okay. So thank you so much, Professor D.K. Lobial, sir, for sparing time for us and sharing your valuable knowledge. Sir has introduced us with cybersecurity components. Now, the platform is open for the participant. If they have any query, so they may ask. Is there any query from participants? So they may raise your hand.
Manisha?
Yes, sir.
First, I will tell something about FDP. Then they will start theory.
Okay, okay, sir. No
Okay.
issue, sir. Okay, sir.
So this PPT is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is
Yes,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So welcome to all of you, my dear participant. Already we have shared the many detail through website and WhatsApp. Okay. But still there are some few points we will discuss. Then we open the query. Okay. Then resolve that. The objective already we have mentioned. You will be benefited. You know about the security and crime, threats, malware. Okay. There will be some hands-on and theoretical lectures. So I hope you will attend all, and you just see all the lectures of the speakers. Okay. So we have taken the speakers from different organization like IBM, okay, and some industry. Second, we have take a pool of the lecture speakers from academia, okay, like JNU, IIT, NIT, IPU, okay. And third pool we have taken from PSU like DRDO, CDAC, CDTI, CSIR, okay. The main objective, we will take the 14th session on different issue of the cyber, like vulnerability, cyber law, forensic, okay, intelligence. When you complete the all session, then there is some study material which is provided by speakers. Okay, we will upload on website. Okay, then there is a one exam at the last day on 30 May. So you just try to do give that exam. After that, your mobile number and email ID is most important. So you just try to check it is correct or not. If you receive an email, it means it is correct. So by that email and mobile number, you will download your digital certificate. Okay. So this is the methodology. Okay, we will take some talks via online tool. Already we prefer the Zoom. Okay. Then there is a PPT video and live session will be there, and we will take one quiz. Okay. The most important, the pre-FDP point was already we have mentioned. We create one group, then you just need to join it. Okay, because instance message will be provided into group. Then you just edit your information. Still, if there is some lack of information, like your name is not in capital, your university name is not correct, so try to check, because your name and university name will come on your certificate. So I will provide the information very soon after finishing this session. So I will post the list of complete participant with the name and university name. So you just try to check your name and verify. If there is any problem, then form is open to edit, not need to submit again. Okay. Already we are using Zoom software. Now what we will do during the FDP. So first task we will share the Zoom ID. Then we will provide the password. So don't share to anyone with this anyone to this user ID and password. Okay. It is, if it is possible, you just rename to your login credential with your name, what is given in your form. Okay. Then on daily basis, we will provide one link for attendance. Okay. So you just submit the yes or no. Okay. If you are not attending, it means we will consider it no. Okay. Otherwise, you need to fill it yes. Clear? Now, second task during FDP is you just maintain the 80% attendance. It is as per AICTE rule. Okay. So you just maintain the 80% attendance, and you just see the website for any material or PPT. Then you should be ready on 30. Okay. And according to AICT, you should score the 60% marks. Okay. So these are the some activity during FDP. Now, what is the post FDP activity? When you finish your FDP of the 5 days, there is a course code AOJPR 062. Okay. You just note down it because it required in feedback. So there is a one feedback is going to shared with a link. It is mandatory before leaving the course. If you want to download your certificate, so it is mandatory. You just provide the feedback of FDP. We will share a link. So you just fill the information accordingly. Now there is a one optional feedback via video. If you want to share some 20-second or 30-second video for feedback, you can share. So we will combine that video and share to AICT. Then finally, you just download your digital certificate with the credential that we have discussed. So this is about what we will do during this 5 days FDP. If still there is any query, then we will try to take and resolve those. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you can on the query.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Karan Singh, sir, for sharing the process of FDP and flow of FDP as well. Now, I request to all the participants to follow the instructions delivered by the sir for rest of the 5 days of FDP. So now platform is open for all the participants. If they have any query, they may ask by raising their hand, and our technical team will connect you with the speaker. Please raise your hand one by one if you have any query or you want to interact with our speakers.
Yeah, hello, good morning, sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am, you are good. Very good morning. You are audible. You may ask your query.
Yeah, I want to know about this during this FDP, which tool we use for cyber security.
Okay, actually we will use some software. It depend upon the speaker. If the speaker tell us to install some software, we will provide the information on WhatsApp group. Okay.
And sir, yes, sir. And one more question, sir.
Yes,
like
yes.
you are saying, there will be one online test after the FDP. If, for example, if we all clear the test, then we get the certificate. Or if anyhow we are not able to clear the test, in that case we also get the certificate.
No, it is compulsory, and there is a 60% marks criteria. Okay.
Okay,
I hope
60% marks.
you will get 60%
Yes, sir,
marks.
definitely I will.